This is Valerie Van Boeven with the Senior Care Industry Netcast, where leaders with 3 or more years in the senior care industry share their advice. So let's get to it. In a few sentences, tell us all about who you are and what you do.
Wow. Few sentences. Okay. I am Perdita Fisher. I'm a dentist, practicing dentist of 40 plus years. I won't add the plus on there. I have owned a vegan restaurant, a health food store. I have helped to manage and sponsor a poetry festival. I've worked in the nonprofit industry, in the schools, teaching nutrition to children. I've written a book on From Pregnancy to Childhood, a guide to good oral habits, but it's not just for pregnant women, but to help the parents know that it takes both of them to work toward being healthy before they decide to conceive, because everything, we pass so much to our children.
Yeah.
I've worked in dentistry in senior care fields, senior care dentistry for 7 years. I've worked in a school-based dental system with children. And let's see.
So much.
What else? But yeah, I've done a lot of things. I actually even took the after fitness certification just so that I could help a nonprofit out by teaching a fitness course at a school. So
Nice.
I did that just to do that. So yes, my
busy.
Yes, still busy.
Very busy. That's awesome. And so we've only had one other dental professional on who does like she's mobile dentistry. So she goes, I guess she does go to people's houses, but for the most part, she goes to assisted living and senior care facilities and helps them when they have a challenge with someone who's got an issue or just need teeth cleaning or whatever. So, and I can't tell, you know this better than I do. Our oral health is so important from beginning to end. And so, yeah, and I think I was on your website. I just took a quick look and I saw your book there. So, and I always was told, now my kids are 13, but I was told if you're thinking about having kids, at least 2 years prior to getting pregnant, you should, improve your own health and eat healthy and do all the right things so that they have a better chance.
Correct.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. What is the best thing about serving seniors and their families?
Oh, wow. Well, maybe you don't know because you may not be at the senior stage yet, but seniors have a lot of wisdom. They have a lot of stories. They have a lot of experiences. And just like, people, you have to look at them as people, not a blanket, quote unquote, label, because they are people. But I learned so much from the senior population just by them sharing their stories. And many of their stories are not very pleasant. Many of them don't have good relationships with their siblings, their children, or any of their relatives. So oftentimes when I approach seniors, they just want to talk. They just want to talk, and they just want someone to hear them. And when I say hear them, I mean understand them, to empathize, to feel and sense their pain and their joys. Because many of them do have, exciting stories. But I just think the senior population I don't know how to, I'm trying to figure out the words to put it, but it's
sometimes invisible a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes invisible. And I think, we don't take the time that we used to. When I was growing up, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, with my great-grandparents. And today you don't see that. I even feel that with my own grandchildren. I don't see them as much. Not when my children were growing up, I would make sure that I took them to their grandparents so that they could spend time, because it's a balance. You get something different from the generations, from every generation. And so you have to embrace all of that. So Yeah.
Yes, I spent a lot of summers with my grandmother, and
Yeah.
so now I try to always, every time we're doing something like breaking beans, or doing something simple like that, like we'll buy some green beans and we're in the kitchen breaking beans because we're not good enough to grow them ourselves. But when we buy them and do something, I say, let me tell you what I used to do when I was a little girl, and I used to sit on the porch swing and break beans with my grandmother. And so our kids, I mean, my grandmother's now passed away, but they don't get that same summer sitting on the porch, just sitting there
Right.
talking, being quiet and breaking beans. I mean, that's just something that doesn't happen very often anymore. So yeah, I agree with you. It's a different world for sure. But our seniors have so much to teach us and to tell us.
Yes.
I agree. Sitting and listening is a good thing. So, all right. Let's talk about online marketing a little bit. We're going to switch gears. You have a website that's beautiful. You obviously know something about online marketing. So what has been your experience? Or someone helps you. I don't know.
Okay. My experience is if if you really don't know what you're doing, and unless you have an enormous amount of time to put it together, get help.
Yeah.
I did. I started putting things together myself because they said, "Oh, you can build this through WordPress, and you can go here and you can add this and do that." It took me probably months to probably just put a page or two together, and to me, it looked like a kindergarten, first grade project, like. And so I'd actually had it done twice. I got one company who did it, and it was just it was okay. It was much better than what I was doing. And then I found someone else through Bluehost, and they were able to put it together to where it is now. And of course, you still see some ways to improve things, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's much better. So
Always a work in progress.
yeah, so marketing is not my thing because I know a website itself does not do anything, which I've come to find out. And it's, there are other forms of marketing that many people use these days that they say that they don't have have to have a website. But I'm kind of old fashioned. I like to go to somebody's website and look at something or see something as opposed to just going to Facebook or Instagram or whatever all these other little platforms that they have that are coming out to do so. And even in my dental practice, we actually had a company to build our website that we found from one of the conventions, but still the marketing aspect was a challenge.
Yeah.
And the staff really didn't have time to do that marketing. So I was the one that, was trying to post stuff on Facebook and finding different things to post on the website. So it is a challenge. And unless you really get it good and you can click like that, it takes work and it takes time. But I think it's important to do that and to realize that you do have to do that unless you have a really big budget and you got TV ads, or you can, do a bunch of ads and things, which is another aspect of expense.
Option.
And, some of the companies, the bigger companies now, of course, are able to advertise, on TV, on radio, and other aspects of marketing. So.
Yeah. I think I would always recommend having a partner for online marketing. Even if you're pretty good with Zoom and you're pretty good with LinkedIn and you understand Facebook a little bit, it's always good for you to fill in. A marketing company can do all the basics and they can get you going. And they can post stuff for you, but adding your personality to it's always really important. So
right.
Taking just a few minutes each day or a couple times a week to add something that you think or you really like really makes it all come together. So the more personal you can make it as far as your profession goes, the better.
Right. And even without being professional, I think, people want to know, and that's one thing I find out. So you find a lot of my writings are about my personal experiences. They want to know that you are a person, that you're a human, that you're not some ghostwriter that's just posting stuff, that you have experiences, you have challenges, you have all that. So
yeah, I always like to share I kind of mix it up too. I like to talk about the kids a little bit, husband, the dogs, everybody gets to see the dogs. And then, most of it's about other things that we do that are more professional, but I always
Right.
throw in some happy, good stuff or talk about my
Right.
dad or, our happy birthdays or whatever. So yeah, I think knowing you're a human just like everybody else is really comforting
Hmm.
to folks.
Right.
All right. I would imagine in your career, in your life, there have been other organizations or leaders or people out there who have made a difference to you, or you just thought were really great or did a great job, whether it's with seniors or kids or whatever. Who would you like to mention that's just really made an impression? This could be your parents, it could be anybody.
Okay. Well, of course, I do have to start with my parents as they were both educators. So
Ah,
educators and like I said, teachers and preachers. That was,
yeah.
pretty much what they did those days. And my father was both.
Mhm.
So, of course, they instilled in me the value of education and, values of honesty and being, what do I want to say? Being a neighbor and a friend to
Mhm.
others. And of course, the organization that I am with now, Gateway to Oral Health Foundation, in the St. Louis area, has been working in the schools with children for 25 years now. We have mobile dentistry where we go into the schools, but we also have vans that go into the schools as well.
Mhm.
I've worked with senior care dentistry for years where we just did nothing but the senior population. They were actually brought in from the nursing homes
Mhm.
or from assisted living facilities. 360 Care is where I work, where we actually go into the facilities to do treatment on the seniors who are not able to get out for their dental appointment. So there are a number of them. And then an organization that is no longer in existence, Support a Child International, is one that really helped me because we focused on nutrition and healthy lifestyles, teaching them to children
Mhm.
in the schools and in the community. So that was a big project, that I enjoyed doing as well. So there are just, oh gosh, there's so many that that are there that have touched me, that either I have been worked with closely, or even from a distance. And there's so many more now.
Oh yeah, there's never a shortage of folks who could use a little extra help, and especially, I mean, we don't talk about oral care all the time, but I'll tell you what, that's a huge health issue. I mean, it affects so many things. If your oral health isn't good, you know this better than I do, but it can make you sick in many other ways.
Oh, absolutely.
Um, and people suffer for a long time with bad teeth and things that they could probably, they just don't know the resources. They don't have the resources to get them
Mhm.
fixed. But so thank you
Yeah.
for reaching out and helping all the way from little kids all the way on up. So it
Yes, I've
starts
uh,
with
I've
little.
enjoyed, they're each or special hold special memories to me, and each were equally as important, because the children have just helped me to reconnect with my inner child, and
Yeah.
the older people just help me with the wisdom and being a little more patient with myself as I move up that ladder.
Yeah, I understand. You make it to the next level, then
Yes.
yeah, we gotta do a little more self care sometimes.
Yes.
That's totally
Yes.
okay. All right. What piece of advice would you give to other senior care providers or dental providers out there? What piece of advice do you have for other folks?
Um, wow, there's several of them. Of course, be yourself. Of course, don't try to come across, just be your natural self. And hopefully your natural self, if you're in the healthcare industry, is going to be one that's open, that's one that's compassionate, that one that has empathy. Listen to them, let them tell their stories. They all have stories, whether it's the children or the seniors, but particularly the seniors. As I said, sometimes they just want to talk. um, be empathetic with them. Let them know that you understand, that you feel their pain. Another thing, don't treat them like babies. Sometimes we want to just baby them because, yes, when you get to certain ages, you sometimes act like babies. But they really don't like being treated like babies. And I had that experience with my mother. She said, I can do it. I can do it. And I always wanted to do things for her to alleviate her at that. But, they want to have their certain level of independence, whatever that is. So don't, just not to no baby them. And then, build a rapport. Just talk, listen, talk, listen.
Yeah, all those things are so important. I think zipping the lips sometimes and let them just listening is the best thing we could do. So yeah, yeah, and definitely everybody wants to. Even if you think, oh, this would be helpful, if I totally get that. My dad is in a nursing home. I talk about him all the time. And he definitely like holding the door open for me when we go out to have lunch. He wants to hold the door open.
Right.
He walks with a walker, but he wants to hold the door open. And I mean, totally. And I'm trying to hold the door open for him.
Right.
No, I got it. So yeah, he wants to do his own thing. Absolutely. So, all right. Last question. When you have a win in life, how do you like to celebrate? Now that could be anything. A win in life isn't a monetary win. It could be a marriage in the family, a new baby, a graduation from college or high school. It could be just a birthday. How do you like to celebrate?
Well, my first thing is always to give acknowledgement to the Creator, and just being thankful and grateful for whatever that win may be, whatever that blessing may be. And depending on what it is, sometimes I might celebrate by, going and having a pedicure, which I haven't really done in this season as much.
Yeah.
Massages, I tend to do that ongoing, but I might add extra time to my massage instead of that, or going out to a special place that I love to eat and may not do on a regular basis because I don't want to pay that much or whatever. So I'll do something that's a little, that's a little extra. And sometimes it's just about, just being quiet and thankful. Sometimes celebration is just being able to go somewhere and sit by a fountain and watch the water.
Yeah, just reflecting on
So,
what a great day you had, or
yeah.
what a great time it was, or is coming, or whatever. So, yeah, I think we all need a little more reflection and celebrating. It's been rough for the last since March at least,
Right.
for all of us, right? So
Yes.
I think anytime we can just sit down and be thankful for what we do have and celebrate the little things is probably good for our hearts and our souls. So that's good advice. Just sitting down and hanging out and being thankful for what you have is good.
Right. Yep. And sometimes, it's the simple things that really, that matter the most, like getting a card from my grandchildren.
Yeah.
Where they all wrote a message in there, or
Mhm.
even just a memory, like my mother, who passed recently this year during the
Oh,
COVID. She would always, I mean, at 92 years old, and I'm 65. If I was gone, she would wait up for me. She would be sitting at the door waiting for me, like, well, where are you? I didn't know you were going to be gone that long. When are you coming back? So, just remembering those, those kind of things, and those
nice.
special moments, or the times, that we would go out dancing or listening to music
Yeah.
together, at an
Yeah.
old age. And then looking forward to sharing those with,
Yeah.
hopefully with my grandchildren
Yeah.
or my children as they get older too. So,
Yeah, we try to remember that about I think the art of writing a letter or writing a note, even thank you notes was
right,
always it was instilled in me that you write
right.
a handwritten thank you note for
Yes,
Christmas gifts and birthdays,
yes,
and it's kind of getting like to be a lost art. So
it is.
I make the kids, and they don't mind doing it, especially if we can make it fun. They're older now and they're okay with it. But I ask them, please sit down and each of you write a thank you note or a hi, I miss you to grandma
Right.
and grandpa.
Yes,
And just so we mail them something. I like getting mail. And then, I
yes,
mean, whether they live in a nursing home or their own house, it's nice to hear from you. Even I
yes.
know phones are fine, but it's mail
No,
them.
mail you can feel, you can touch, and you can sense that they actually took the time to write something or draw a picture or whatever it is that they're able to do. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
important.
that's so important. All right. Well, you know what? I appreciate you being on the show, sharing your wisdom and sharing your history and all the things that you've done and accomplished in your professional life. We appreciate it. This is all about sharing and letting others know what's out there, what we do for each other, and just giving out some, kind of good news in the wake of a lot of crazy stuff
Oh,
going on.
absolutely. Yes.
So thank you very much.
All righty. Well, thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure meeting you and especially chatting with you. It was very, very refreshing.
Thank you.